Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I am Muhammad Tayyib Ejaz, Assistant Professor of English at Government Ghazali Degree College, Hang, from the channel of Learning Made Easy by Tayyib Ejaz. And today we will be talking about writing research proposal. So you know very well that research proposal is a very important document before conducting a research, and it is very much technical to write a research proposal. So today we are going to talk about writing a research proposal. So if you have not subscribed our channel yet, you are requested to subscribe our channel Learning Made Easy by Tayyib Ejaz, so that you people may get our videos immediately whenever they are posted. So now let us start on our topic. What is a research proposal? This is a very general sort of thing. A research proposal is a starting point of your research. While you are going to conduct a research, your research proposal is your initial point, your beginning point, your starting point. It shows your expertise to research, and this research proposal basically shows your expertise to conduct a research, that how much expert you are in the field of research. Then it is a blueprint of your research. Blueprint, a map, a road map, नक्शा. जैसे किसी घर को बनाने के लिए पहले उसका नक्शा तैयार किया जाता है, बिल्कुल इसी तरह ये रिसर्च प्रपोजल आपके रिसर्च का ब्लूप्रिंट है, उसका मैप है, रोड मैप है. So what does a research proposal do? What is the role of research proposal? So a research proposal is basically having twofold purposes. Its goal is twofold. At first point, it is basically used to represent and justify the need of the study. It basically helps you to justify the area of research, the field of research, the topic of research on which you are working, whether that research topic is justifiable or not, whether it is required or not. And secondly, it is used to represent the practical ways in which the proposed study should be conducted. In fact, its second role is to present how the researcher plans to conduct the research. So it has these two basic roles: to justify your research and to give a plan of your research, that how the researcher is supposed to conduct the research. The goal of a research proposal is twofold: to present and justify the needs, and to present the practical ways in which the researcher is supposed to do it. So if we try to find the ways to write a research proposal, we shall come across many ways, many different formats and so on. You people are well aware that there are many formats of research proposal available, in which sometimes some of the things are added in some proposal and sometimes some of the things are even skipped. Even various universities have their own research formats, proposal formats, but we shall discuss the general and integral parts which are part of every research proposal, so that you people may feel convenient to what institute, to what university, to what area you are working. You would be able to find all the basic and integral parts of the proposal in our today's video. So how to write a research proposal? This is what we are going to talk about. So to learn the format of a research proposal and to write a research proposal, we have tried to find a one-word solution for this purpose. So let us see what is that very word. This word is TACI, tacky, POLIMER, polymer. So you are basically supposed to just learn this word, tacky, polymer. You can divide it into three parts: tacky, poly and mer. Just remember this word and you will be learning the parts of your research proposal in a sequence. So let us have a look at this tacky polymer word. All the contents of research proposal are here in this mnemonic. You people know very well about the mnemonic. This is a memory device. It's something like an acronym that we use for the sake of learning something. Tacky, poly, mer. So just put these three divisions of this very word into your brain. Tacky, poly, mer. Tacky, poly, mer. Now let us fall into the detail. This word T stands for title, which is important thing, which is the first important thing in any sort of research proposal or even any sort of research. The T stands for title. A, the second word is A. A stands for abstract. The second important part of your research proposal is abstract after the title. Then number 3 comes the contents, what you call the table of contents. So after title and abstract, the third thing is your table of contents. The fourth one is introduction of your research. So our first 4 alphabets present: T for title, A for abstract, C for contents, the table of contents, and I for introduction. The word tacky is completed over here. So let us revise: the title, the abstract, the contents, and the introduction. The fifth alphabet in our mnemonic is P. P stands for problem. The area of problem, the problem area, the issue that you are going to work on. After you have defined the issue, our sixth thing is objective, the research objectives, the objectives of the research. What you object, what do you plan to achieve the objects. Then the seventh thing is LI, which means the literature review, an important part of your research proposal as well as your research, the literature review. And then comes the eighth part, methodology. ME stands for methodology, how you will conduct the research. And the last part is R, the references, the last part of your research. So after tacky, we have got the rest of the words: poly, mer, and this P stands for problem, O stands for objectives, LI stands for literature review, ME stands for methodology, and R stands for references. So revise it once again: tacky, poly, and mer. T for table of contents, A for abstract, C for contents, I for introduction. So the title, the abstract, the contents, the introduction, the problem, objectives, L for literature review, then ME for methodology, and final R for references. So we have these 9 parts, 9 things in our research proposal to work on and make our research proposal a acceptable and rightful paper. Let us move forward to everything one by one. Number 1 is title. The first and foremost thing is title. You must start with a short and clear and meaningful title. These three things are very much important in your title. It must be short, it must be brief, but not brief enough that it should not be clear. So brevity, clarity, and conceptuality. It must be meaningful as well. It must be brief and to the point. It should not contain extra detail, rather it should be to the point topic. It should not look like a paragraph. It should not be uh, enough explained and enough detailed that it should be looking like a paragraph on the title page. So it must be very much concise and to the point. A title should provide all necessary information regarding the research project in a compact and concise way. That all the basic things must be described concisely and aptly in a compact way in your title. In fact, the title should be this much uh, clear that anyone going to look at your title should get all the necessary information about the research by that very title. This is what is expected from the title of the research as well as the research proposal. The second thing is abstract. The first was title and the second one is abstract. So an abstract is a short summary of your research. In fact, abstracts are supposed to be written at the end of the research, but we can say that it is the short summary of your research. Abstract concisely reports the aims and outcomes of research so that readers may know exactly what the research is about. Yeah, in fact, abstract is an explanation of your title and it must contain the aims, the objectives of your research so that the reader may come to know what is your research and what are the expected outcomes of your research. The size of the abstract must not be less than 150 words and should not be 300 words. So we can say that 150 to 300 is the limit of the abstract in the form of words. It should not be less than 150 and it should not be more than 300 words. The abstract must talk about these four things. The first thing, your research problem and objectives, not in a detailed way but in a brief and concise way. It should talk about the research problem, research area, and the objectives that are supposed to be achieved. Your methodology, what you will do to approach your to achieve your goals, your key arguments, and your conclusion. So do not think that the conclusion is something that you will be having at the time of abstract. In fact, it is the expected conclusion that what you people will be reaching at the end of your research. So these are the four things which must be part of your abstract. The next thing is contents, the table of contents. First was the title, second was abstract, and the third one is the contents, the table of contents. So the page containing table of contents must express everything with page numbers. Your table of contents should contain all the things, all the headings that will be coming in the next pages, and those headings must include the page number, that which item falls on which page. The contents must be in a sequence, like it should be in the same order as what is on page number 1, what is on page number 2, what is on page number 3, 4, 5, and so on. Do not include the title page number in the content page. You must remember it that the title page is not included in the numbering. Your page 1 must start after the title page. The title page should not be included in the content page. Number 4, the last part, the last letter of the first part of the word, that was tacky. The title, the abstract, the contents, and this fourth one is the introduction. The introduction. The first main chapter of your proposal, the first main written part of your research proposal, because the title was a concise thing, the abstract was very much concise, the table of content was just the content, and this fourth one, the introduction, is the main thing, main chapter, first main chapter of the research proposal. It comes immediately after the table of contents. Yes, after the table of contents, this is the first thing. It must be clearly focused writing. This is very much important. You are not supposed to just write a lot of irrelevant things, a lot of extra detail in your introduction chapter. Rather, an introduction chapter is a clearly focused writing. It must be concisely and clearly focused thing. It must describe the basic facts, the purpose, and the importance, and the background of your research. These four things must be part of your introduction. The basic facts, the purpose of your research, the importance of your research, and the background, why did you select this topic. It should also include the motivation of your research as well, worth of your research for community, society, and mankind. Yeah, the introduction must include why you were motivated to select this topic, why you as a researcher selected this topic, and why you didn't go for any other topic. And moreover, it should also include the value, the worth of your research for your community, for your society, or for the whole of the mankind. What benefit would the human being or any other ways would get from your research? The fifth thing, the problem. Basically, in our letter tacky polymer, we wrote P for problem. In fact, this is not problem, rather this is the problem statement, which is the second part after the introduction. You must revise that we have previously discussed T, A, C, I. The title, abstract, contents, and introduction, and the fifth thing is the problem statement. The problem statement simply tells what is your research, what are you going to do in this research. आप इस रिसर्च में क्या करना चाह रहे हैं? This is your problem statement. What was the problem that instigated you to do work on this issue? So what was the problem which motivated you to work on this area, to work on this topic, to work in this issue? What problem did you find out in the area of research? Basically, the whole problem statement actually revolves around this word problem. What was the problem? What problem did you face? What problem people were facing? What were the issues that motivated you to work on that very problem? All these things include the problem statement. Problem statement must be clear. As you know, this word clear have been repeatedly used in our work. It should be, the title should be clear, the introduction should be clear, the abstract should be clear. So this clarity and conciseness, these two things are very much important in your research. You must be very much clear in the things that you are talking, that you are writing, and you must be very much concise, to the point, and brief in your research. So your research problem statement must be very much clear and concise description of the issues that need to be addressed with the help of your research. Yeah, what would be the issues? What would be the problems that you are supposed to address after conducting your research? In fact, this is the justification of your research also, that why you are going to conduct this very research. Describe the specific problem very much clearly. When you are writing the problem statement, you are supposed to describe your problem very much specifically and very much clearly. The sixth thing, after TACI P, then comes the O, the objectives of your research. What do you want to achieve? What you as researcher want to achieve? What are your goals? What are your targets? What are your objectives? So what are your goals and objectives in this research? What benefits are you expecting from the solution of the problem? If your research revolves around any problem, you are supposed to write it in the objectives that what benefits are supposed to be achieved after the solution of that very problem. Why this research should be allowed. This is basically your justification. It should also be part of your objectives, that why this research is important and why this should be allowed. Your all justifications for this research. In fact, your research objectives revolve around the whole justification of your research, that why you should be allowed to conduct this research. The seventh thing, the Li thing, LI. This LI stands for literature review. The literature review can be called a survey of the scholarly sources on your topic. Basically, literature reviews all the abstract like description of all the relevant possible researches which have been conducted earlier related to your topic, related to your area of research. So we can say that literature review is a scholarly survey of all the previously conducted researches about your topic. What is known and what has been done by others. In fact, when you are doing a literature review, you are working on all the researches related to your topic, your area, and what have been already done by others on your topic, on your area of research. कि जिस एरिया ऑफ रिसर्च पे आप काम कर रहे हैं, जिस प्रॉब्लम पे आप काम कर रहे हैं, उसके बारे में क्या पहले भी किसी ने कुछ काम किया है, या डायरेक्टली उस प्रॉब्लम के बारे में नहीं, तो उससे मिलते जुलते इश्यूज के ऊपर अगर किसी ने काम किया है तो वो क्या काम था और वो कैसे किया गया. And the most important thing, someone may ask that if somebody has already worked on your topic, why your research is still necessary? Why you are going to work on the same topic? So basically, your research topic might be unique one, different one, quite different one. Just the relevant literature review is supposed to be discussed. If somebody has directly worked on your topic will not be approved for research because the justification will not be there. Somebody has already worked on this topic, so you do not need to work on it. So after a unique topic, you simply supposed to find the relevant material, the relevant researches. It is an overview of current knowledge on the concerned topic. Yeah, about your topic, what is the knowledge available till now? What are the things that have been known by now? And then after what is known by now, you will be working on what is further to be explored. It also provides methods and relevant theories to your research. Yeah, while you are trying to find the relevant researches, so the literature review will also help you to find certain methods and relevant theories about your topic, about your problem area, about your research. Above all, it identifies the gap in the existing research. Yeah, because you are finding all those things that have been already done, you will find where is the gap, what is the gap area in your research topic, in your research area that you will be conducting. So your literature review basically gives you exact gap, where there is a gap and where you are supposed to put your research. In the literature review area, I think it is very much important to talk how to write literature review. Literature review just does not require you to summarize the sources, not at all. You are not supposed to just summarize the sources, rather you are supposed to analyze, synthesize, and critically evaluate what a clear picture of the knowledge on your topic. Just do not summarize each and everything that you go through in your relevant literature, in your books, in your material or journals or whatever things you find. You are not supposed to just summarize. Rather, you are supposed to analyze, synthesize, and critically evaluate to frame a clear picture of knowledge on your topic. There are 5 steps in writing a good literature review. So let us have a look at those 5 steps. Number 1, search for the relevant literature. You are supposed to search for the relevant literature. Number 2, after you have searched it, just evaluate all the resources that you have found. Number 3, identify themes, debates, and most importantly, the gaps. You must identify those gaps where you are supposed to fit your own research. Number 4, outline the structure. Outline all these things that you have previously found out. And number 5, after outlining your collected material, then write down your literature review in a symmetrical way. So search, evaluate, identify, outline, and then go to writing the research literature review. Number 8, the NME thing. In tachypolymer, let us revise, TACIPOLI, and then comes this ME. The title, the abstract, the contents, the introduction, problem, objectives, literature review, and 8th thing comes the methodology, the research methodology. Methodology means methods, how you will conduct the research. The methods, the means and the methods you as a researcher will adopt to conduct your research. कि आप अपनी रिसर्च को कंडक्ट करने के लिए जो जो मेथड इस्तेमाल करेंगे वो सारे के सारे मेथोडोलॉजी के चैप्टर में लिखे जाएंगे. It must explain what you will do and how you would do it. Yes, as we have earlier discussed that the research proposal is your blueprint of the research, you must tell in methodology what you will do, what you are supposed to do, and secondly, how you would do it, how you will be doing it. Your research methodology must include following things. Number 1, the type of research you are going to do. What type of research is this? You are already aware of the types of research, whether this is exploratory research, whether this is educational research, whatever type of research it is, you are supposed to write it. Then, what are the population and sample of your research? Your population and sample must include the methodology part of the research. How would you collect the data? After you have finalized your population, then you have selected your sample, then you are supposed to collect the data and you are supposed to describe your data collection tools in the methodology part, that what tools you will be apply, what tools you will use to collect the data. Then comes how would you analyze your data. After data collection, you are supposed to do the data analysis. So you are supposed to write it in the methodology part, that how you will be analyzing your data. Then any tool or material you will use in the research. Further, anything that or any tool or anything else that you consider important in your methodology chapter should be included over here. Your rationale for choosing these methods. all these things that you have discussed, the type of research, the population sample, the collection of the data, the analysis of the data, or any other tools, you must give a rationale. You must give your justification for choosing these methods. That why did you choose this very method of research? You are supposed to mention it in the methodology also. In the tachypolymer area, the last thing, the ninth thing is the references, the bibliography part, the reference part. This is very important part of your research because this part actually saves you from falling in the area of plagiarism. This is actually the acknowledgement of the materials that you have consulted. All those things that you have consulted in your literature review area, in your introduction area, or anywhere else. These references are the acknowledgement of your resources that you have consulted. To keep your research new and innovative, it is necessary to quote references. Yeah, if you will not quote references, your research may not be considered fresh, innovative, and new, so you must include the references. Not quoting references may entrap you in the plagiarism. We have already talked that if you will not be quoting the references, it is equally possible that you fall in the trap of plagiarism and your research may not be approved. So to keep yourself safe from plagiarism, you must include references. There are various styles of referencing. You people might have known about it. Like we have APA style of referencing, American Psychological Association. We have MLS style of referencing. We have Harvard style of referencing, and so on. So it depends upon the requirement of your institute that whatever format, whatever style they ask you to write. This might include the headings, the font size, the font style, the heading style, etc. So you must consult your department, your institute, to which referencing style your department asks you, you should follow it. The style you follow for your research must be followed in your reference section. Yeah, whatever style you will follow from this list, the APA, the MLA, the Harvard style, whatever you will select, this style will not only be used in the referencing area, but this style will be followed in the whole of your research proposal as well as in the whole of your research. Yeah, an important discussion, an important debate, that there are certain mistakes which people do, and here we will discuss what mistakes should be avoided while conducting a research. Failure to be concise. We have previously discussed many times that you people are supposed to be concise in your writing, in your research proposal. So conciseness is important, and sometimes people fail to be concise, which is a major mistake in the research. Number two, failure to cite landmark works in your literature review. While doing literature review, you are supposed to give the worthy respect, the suitable respect and suitable value to the important works. If you ignore important works and you include less important works, this is an also big mistake, a major mistake. Number three, the failure to delimit the contextual boundaries of your research. Yeah, delimitations are very much important. You cannot conduct your research in a very broad and a very open way. You are supposed to delimit the things in the certain areas, like in the topic area, like in the population area, like in the data collection area. So you are supposed to delimit your research. You are supposed to mark the boundaries of your research. You are not supposed to let it open for a larger period of time. Failure to develop a coherent and persuasive argument for the proposed research. You are supposed to have a very coherent and very persuasive argument, a very persuasive justification sort for your research. If you won't be able to justify it in a persuasive way, your research won't be approved. Sloppy or imprecise writing or poor grammar. Very important topic. If you are not precise in writing, if you have poor grammar, your research will be having a very negative image. So you must be very much good in your grammar. Even if you are not good in grammar, you can take help from any software, from any teacher, from any other person around you, but you are not supposed to write poor or imprecise writing. Too much detail on minor issues. If you will do the things like this, it will be looking that you are just beating about the bush. You're not supposed to give a lot of detail for minor issues, and if you will be doing like this, definitely you will be skipping the major issues. So you must be very much leveled and balanced. Not enough detail on major issues. As we have already talked, that if you are having lot of detail on minor issues, it means you will be speaking something, you will be skipping, or you will be omitting something from the major issue. So you must have balance in explaining the things, that what length, what size does minor issues require, and what length or what size do the major issue require. So let us have a revision sort of thing, a revision or a summary sort of thing, that what we have discussed by now. We have discussed how to write research, and we have discussed it with the help of a word tachypolymer. So let us have a look at this tachypolymer. T for title, A for abstract, C for table of contents or the contents, I for introduction, P for problem statement, O for objectives, LI for literature review, and ME for methodology, and this final R for references. So tachy polymer, there are 9 things: TACIPOLIMER, tachy polymer. So this is all about the writing a research proposal. If you have any question, if you have any suggestions, you are very much welcome. You may please put down your questions, your suggestions in the comment box. And thank you very much for being the part of this discussion. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Once again, if you have not subscribed our channel, please subscribe our channel Learning Made Easy by Tayyib Ejaz. Thank you very much.